What can be learned by all of this? If you want to tell us what you think, we're going to tell you how you can do that in just a moment. But we did pose those very questions to folks around the region, and here's what you had to tell us in person.
I think they were discriminated against, and I think they should take them to court and see what the court says.
I think that to an extent it was racially motivated, but I don't think it was racially motivated necessarily on the part of the swim club. I think probably the people who left the club and who got out of the water because of it obviously were somewhat racially motivated.
I don't know. I think they should take them to court, personally. I do. I think that there is something behind it. You have an upscale neighborhood with, you know, it's all white, and then suddenly this goes on, and before it wasn't a problem.
I think it was very racially motivated.
Unfortunately, I am motivated to think that it was racially motivated, based on some of the things I've seen in the past with some of the high-fluting swim clubs and racquetball clubs.
It was all a big misunderstanding. There were other camps out there involved. The media didn't bring that into play, that the swim club canceled all of their memberships because they realized they just couldn't accommodate all of these children coming in. And I think that they should have accepted their apology and let it be at that.
That very question I posed on Facebook, and boy, I have to tell you, I got a lot of response, almost instantaneous to it, when I said, should the apology be accepted, and should the camp move on? If you want to tell us what you think, you can email me at the bottom of the screen. We're going to keep Gabe with us here, but now we're joined by Annette John Hall, who is a columnist for the Philadelphia Inquirer, and attorney Danny Savalas, who believes that this has nothing to do with race. He says it's just a matter of too many kids in one place. Thanks so much for joining the discussion. And Annette, I want to start with you, because when I read your column on this, you said, you know what, if it was racism, no one's accepting it. But if it was a mistake, that there's a teachable moment here to teach kids how to deal with a very negative situation.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, to me, I have to ask myself the question, what do you want to teach the children? Because after all, this was all about the children having a good summer. And when I ask myself that question as a mom, I have to think that you have to teach them something as a character builder, and that you have to teach forgiveness. If somebody reaches out to you with an olive branch, no matter how insincere you may think it is, I think that you have an obligation to forgive. I think forgiveness does a lot.
Now, Gabe, you're not saying that you wouldn't accept the apology or you're not a fan of forgiveness, but you mentioned early in the interview that you thought there was a need for justice.
Absolutely. Remedial measures, in other words, if we were to brush this under the rug now, 6 months from now, 12 months from now, there's no guarantee that the behavior wouldn't be the same. Again, they only apologized after extraordinary pressure was placed on them.
But Danny, you know that in this day and age with the media and with the story going viral the way that it did they really have it, you know, even an opportunity on their own to make amends?
Oh, the swim club? Oh, I think post the incident, the swim club made a number of mistakes. Everything from a statement made by a swim club manager who never imagined he would be on the national scene and made what I can only call the silliest statement or choice of words that you could possibly make. If you don't know what it was, it involved that he explained it away by saying, we felt the kids changed the complexion of the pool. Whoever drafted that one for him ought to be thrown out on the street, because that was a terrible choice of words. I don't know what he meant by that. I'm not speaking for him. But when it comes to discrimination, I am here to say not that there absolutely wasn't discrimination. I'm saying that there's a burden of proof here. And there are a couple elements here that that might be problematic.
Such as?
Such as, well, essentially, Mr. Levin has to show that the owner or agent was involved. Now, we know that the kids heard people at the pool, members saying racist things. Listen, you give my grandpa Vito a couple beers at the pool, he's going to say some terrible things too. But you need to show that there's a nexus between those members and the owner, agent, or manager of the pool. The other elements he almost has. You've got a public accommodation. I think the case law is clear. You've got refusal of admission, which I think is very clear. But then it has to be based on race. You need to make that connection.
The very same members that made the comments went to the board and asked them to remove the kids. The argument that this was somehow a safety...
And you know that for a fact?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And the the argument that this was somehow a safety concern, as I told you earlier, was completely ridiculous.
I have to take a quick break. These guys are going to continue, but one quick question. A lot of people are wondering, is this all about money? All about the dollar figure? Absolutely not. And I think one of the biggest things we're seeking is a change for the future, and we can enforce that through the law. Thank you so much for your time. We
Thank you for having me.
We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to tell you how you can weigh in. You can email me at tcn_IYC@cable.comcast.com. We're also going to have some of your phone calls, Facebook comments, and we're going to hear from a couple more lawyers who have another lawsuit possibly pending. Stay with us.
Lynn Doyle's jewelry provided by David Craig Diamonds and Fine Jewelry, Newtown, Pennsylvania.